And we are live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. We've got two very special guests with us. Well, one regular for the show, Alex, and then we've got JT as well. JT, just over to you, mate. The thing is, normally we do a show where we talk about, these are the new things that are happening. These are all the things that's going on in the match. Now the season's over. I just want to get your initial thoughts on how do you think the season's gone? Because obviously the way we ended it really wasn't the way that we wanted it to end, really.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's been a tough past few days since Sunday, since the end of the season, especially with how it ended, and it makes it even so much worse knowing that Chelsea dropped their points, giving us the perfect opportunity to slide in and take that top 4 spot, and it just makes it so much worse. And then I was, as me and Alex were talking about it beforehand, I was saying that I feel almost relaxed without any football on and having to worry about the team. But then I think about the whole Yuri situation and just like that whole scare, because now, even though he's almost been not talked about and underrated for this entire season by the rest of the league and the rest of Europe, and then as soon as he scores a FA Cup final winner, I feel like everybody starts talking about him like he's in the team of the season and stuff like that. And so now it's kind of like adding in this little bit of feeling of stress just in that situation, because he's one of my favorite players. I've been saying for the past few weeks, months, that once the new kit came out, I'm going to get Yuri's name on the back of it. And that was going to be, he's my guy. So it's a little bit of a stressful situation for me right now. I'm sure for a lot of Leicester fans, but overall great season, and I'm never going to be one to be super negative and say that we're perennial bottlers or anything like that. That's not how I think of it. It was a fantastic season. It just unfortunate in the end.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I think this is why we need to. I think, in my opinion, we need to do a follow-up show, Alex, because we bashed the team, and I think rightfully so. I think everybody had the intention to bash the show, not because we wanted to hate on the team. It's because that performance was terrible. However, if we look back now, and we said it at the time, I think let's give it 3 days. Let's see how everything blows over. Then we can reflect on the season properly. And since then, I think we can say, as JT was saying, it's been a hell of a success, really.
Yeah, you're allowed to be frustrated. I think on the day of, everything was perfectly laid out for us. Chelsea losing gave us the opportunity to, jump into that Champions League spot, and we were not successful in the slightest. And I think, going back and looking at that video again, I stick by what I said, because I think on the day of, it's the emotion. It's that raw emotion that you really do just, let out, and just, you let those frustrations, and you're allowed to feel those feels. I think, all of us were upset about it. And I think even the players, and, you can hear on the radio, and everybody was upset. Moving forward with it, you just got to give this season, it was a success. If you told me at the start of this season, Leicester are going to finish in the top 5, we're going to secure a European football again, and we're going to win an FA Cup, the first ever FA Cup for the club, I'd tell you were off your rocker. So the fact that, we can say that now, it's an incredible success for the club, and it's just to move forward. It's exciting, because I think this just opens up the door for Leicester in so many different ways, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. And I think this offseason, this summer, you're going to see a lot of new names show up. You may see a few names disappear, but at the same time, I think we're just going to continue to develop and continue to really unravel that top 6 and, really challenge for, Champions League next year again. I really will stand by it. I do firmly believe next season will be the year.
I think so too, depending on obviously the certain thing. There is a lot of people I still think writing us off, JT, at the moment. But I think at a time, again, I don't want to bring it back, but we were so frustrated on Sunday. It was this close and we just fell away. However, you look at the likes of, as Alex was saying, the top 6, with the likes of Tottenham in a awful position. Their main asset wants to leave. Their owners are not back in the club. They've got a stadium that's millions and millions, hundreds of millions of pounds in debt. The owner, they went to the ESL this season, probably pissed a lot of people off, including the people that fans of the club. And so that's an example of something. But also players like Southampton talking with Dan from the Saints View, and he goes, I don't know what's going to happen with my club or what the intention is, because we were first and we slipped down literally to relegation zone. So on Twitter, it's easy to get involved in these things where everything's falling apart. And to be fair, look at it. Look at the way we entered in 2016. I'm not saying it's going to happen this. So 2015, when Ranieri was appointed, when Pearson was sacked, when Cambiasso left, and everybody thought, including myself, this is the end. We're going back to the Championship, etc., etc. Stranger thing, I don't know for how long you've been supporting JT, but Leicester never make it easy. However, all those things considered, we are still in a very good space, and things like, I don't know if you noticed at the end, Top giving out the shirts to the fans on the day, things like that, and what he's done behind the scenes is just phenomenal. It's something to be really proud of, and I think you've seen from the outside, they're trying to encompass and bring like you guys along for the ride. No, Alex has been featured in pretty much everything of recent as well. So you are supporting the right team, if that makes sense, and you can see the upsides of it rather than supporting a bigger team.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So I've been supporting Leicester since the Great Escape season. So I'm familiar with Cambiasso and how he was kind of like one of the magic men that made it happen. And then for him to leave right after he just pretty much saved us, or was part of saving us, and then our manager gets sacked, the one who just won whatever it was, 9 games in the last couple months of the season to save us, and that whole Thailand situation that went down, and it was just a very bad situation to come into. And they bring in this guy that one of his last managerial jobs, he got sacked by Greece's national team, so he lost like the Faroe Islands. He's not coming in with a very good reputation. Brings in some random guy from the lower tier teams of France named N'Golo Kante. Like, who's that? That was a strange situation to come into. And so I obviously haven't been through the struggles of like a lot of Leicester fans have. My biggest struggle has been the Great Escape season, but I still understand the benefit and the positive situation that we're in now, and how lucky we are to have the club that we have. My brother supports Arsenal, and he's always sending me tweets saying like especially after the FA Cup day, he's like, this is what an owner's supposed to be like this is like, I'm so jealous that this is what you have, and we have some guy that sits over there in California just trying to line his own pockets with money that should be going to Arsenal. So it's definitely a very positive situation to be in, and there's no reason for anybody to be slating the club for the season that we had. It just that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. And I think David puts a good point. It's a shout out. Thank you, David. We did fall short. And I think, again, and that's the thing I want to touch on. The word is overachieved. And at times, we've been playing with the big boys on winning, which is fantastic. I mean, you want to see that as your club. However, the final day of the season, after I had a couple of days off, Alex, so I went, and again, a couple of things. Lack of bench is a massive thing as well. And people like Castagna or Brighton and Didi kind of not playing out of position, but not and being the injuries as well has been a massive thing. However, there is still something happening at this club, and it's very interesting to see. But when you look at it as a whole, you realize I was thinking about this, and like people were berating. On our previous video, you've seen Tottenham fans berating us, and I'm like, I'm not even going to comment, because I'm like, we're going to see what happens. We've at least got a Samore. Looks like he signed up. We'll probably come on to that in a later episode, because there's just a long summer ahead of us. But overall, Alex, I mean, there is still a lot of positive to take from this season for sure.
Yeah, and there are a ton of positives. And you know what? One of the biggest things that I've really been focusing in on is the amount of injuries we've dealt with this season. We don't have the depth like Liverpool. We don't have the depth like Chelsea. We don't have the depth like Man United or City. We don't have that depth. But we've remained in the top 4 all season, minus a few days. And we still were able to stay in a very good spot. Europa League's Europa League. You could be Tottenham. They're celebrating this new conference that they've been able to get into. Like, that's nothing really to be excited about because they won't win that trophy either. Let's be serious here. So, it was a success, and I think after sitting down, even for myself, it was a few hours because I was pretty upset.
Yeah.
And, once the dust finally settled, I really sat there and I was like, this was a successful season. Imagine having the likes of Justin and Barnes and Evans fully fit in that final game. Huge game changer. We were using duct tape to fix foundations that probably needed cement. And that's what we had to work with, and that's what really does excite me for this summer, because I really do believe what the club will be able to really bring in is going to be a game changer for us. I think we're going to come into next season not looking like a wounded fox. We're going to really be able to come in being like, oh, guess what? We have, Ndidi and Tillmans. Oh, by the way, we have Sumare on the bench that's going to come in. If you need a rest, we're going to slot him in. And then, there's many other players being talked about that could be coming to Leicester. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be a fan. I'm just looking forward to it. And like I said before, you cannot say that this season was a failure, because if you're saying that an FA Cup is a failure, if you're saying, getting into the Europa League for the second year in a row is a failure, then do you really know what football is?
Mm-hmm. And it's easy to say, obviously, from an outside perspective, but you got to take this thing all in context. And the players, I want to get your thoughts on some players that you want to mention, JT. Again, we're going to try and do the end of year review soon. I'm trying to get that sorted because Alex knows I've been behind the scenes going, when is everybody free? Trying to take into consideration days off, people that are time zones with Alex, and then like, okay, we're trying to find the best fit for exactly overall. But what was some of your highlights, JT, of the season, or what was some of, obviously, the FA Cup and things like that? But for me, I've been supporting Leicester for years, and I know they never make it easy. I remember watching the 3-0 against West Brom when we played at home, and then we beat them 3-0. And it was quite easy. I'm thinking, God, I've not felt like that in a while. There's not like a match we go, we've, in the same way that Man City kind of turned us over, and they was like, easy win for them. I can't remember, there's not, Leicester just find a way of just changing that. But was there any moments that you remember, or anything that was really ideal for you, that was stuck out this season for you?
It's not necessarily a moment, but I think the one thing that changed our entire season from the start was the development of Fofana straight from the beginning. Like, he didn't take any settling in time. He came in and was banging out great performances match after match. And we've talked about the number of injuries. I'm not really going to talk about that, but with him being able to kind of mitigate that, share some of the burden between him, Evans, and Cianchu to kind of like shepherd that back line through Ricardo getting or coming back to fitness, Justin getting hurt, Castagna getting hurt, all of those injuries, to have him being able to kind of make all that work was fantastic, because I was not expecting that. Even though he came in with a big fee, like coming from the French division, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get all the time. And so I think that was one of the main things for me. And I guess on another positive thought would be obviously James Justin and Harvey Barnes. I think they were nailed on to go to the Euros. Had they not gotten hurt, and those are as a negative, their injuries were the two big negatives that I think hampered what we could have achieved during the season. Because I don't think Spurs matches up with us in the last day of the season, or I don't think we get pushed around by Chelsea if we have Barnes that they have to worry about, rather than just Iheanacho and Vardy up front. I feel like Barnes changes the game entirely, and when we get into next season, we'll get to see that again, which is something I'm super excited for. So
yeah, Yeah, and we'll definitely, again, I totally agree with what you're saying. I think a lot of the things you are right about, and it's the way that you mentioned Fofana. It's a great example of, you look at the 3 signings we brought in. Obviously, Fofana being one of them. I think I've tweeted out going, I don't know if this guy's going to be any good. I didn't trust in the process once again. He just came in and slid in, and nobody could have admitted how well, could have predicted how well he was going to do. Castagna, again, I know he's been through injuries, but you can see the player and the quality that he can do. Under didn't work out, but they got him on loan because they looked in his deal. We're not sure about this one. Let's get him on loan and see what we can do. So what I was listening to recently was they're talking obviously about Harry Kane, and I will keep coming back to Spurs because that's a way that Leicester aren't run, and they're a traditional top 6 club. They sold Modric and they invested in players and it didn't work. And we can say anything but that at the moment, and we've got nowhere near the squad depth. And that's one thing, Alex. Looking forward, you were just saying about the recruitment, and some more it looks like on the way, and we'll probably get onto that in a specific deep dive episode. But specifically about the way that Leicester conducts their business. And if we do end up selling one of our big players, which does look less likely, but the fact that we've got the structure, okay, we know we can replace them. We replaced Kante, we replaced Drinkwater, we replaced Mahrez, we pretty much replaced all of them. That's something to really look forward to as well. Because I want to kind of sing our praise at the same time. It's so easy to beat us, but we are at the same time, as David was saying, we are overachieving at times. But trusting in the process, trusting in the ownership, trusting in that recruitment is massive. And now the rest of the Premier League is taking proper notice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say that Leicester has one of the best asset management in the Premier League. The way that they can utilize one player and sell them. Look at Harry Maguire, for example. Bring in a ton of money, an absolute ton of money, and then turn that around into 3 or 4 players who are established and ready for the Premier League is incredible. I really do believe that our recruiting and our scouting is top tier. Because the fact that you can spend between 35 and 40 million for Wesley Fofana, this 19-year-old kid, and everyone's like, is he going to be this good? And he jumps into the lineup right away, and everyone's like, this kid's good. And we're sitting here at the end of the season being like, it's probably one of the biggest robberies that has taken place at Leicester. Jamie Vardy is the ultimate robbery, but when you look at a kid in Fofana at his age, if the time does come where he ends up leaving Leicester, the price tag that goes along with him is just insane, because it's going to be absolutely horrifying to see that price tag. So you have to give credit to not only to the scouts and all that, but you also have to give credit to Rodgers, who is a tactical genius, a motivator. He's great with youth, and that's one thing that I love to see is that some of these players that you don't always expect to really develop under Rodgers have developed 10 times, which is insane. And then you have to bring it all the way to club ownership. We have the best owners, I would say, in England. Mm-hmm. They're not just for the club, they're for the fans. They're what you want in owners. And we really do have that trifecta, which makes Leicester City. And it's only going to get better. It's not going to get worse. It's only going to get better. Sure, this weekend on Sunday was tough. It was a tough pill to swallow, but you could see it on every single person's face.
Including the owners.
They're upset with it, and that's just going to push them to strive for being more successful, which is exciting, because if you have that drive from everyone, that means the club's only going to get better.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's what we're hoping from the team. We know that they will get better over time. And Diego Gandic says, shout out Lee Congerton. But yeah, and also this is kind of something I wanted to say as well. We'll probably go on to the end of it, but we would like to say thank you to all the people that have commented, subscribed, even you that are watching now. I mean, we started, Alex, earlier this season, I think when JT was a member. Alex came on, I think, literally, I mean, it was literally this time last year when we not this time last year, but the end of the game last year we first met, and it's just been mental. I know JT that you've been we brought you on randomly for the thing, and the channel was tiny, so we couldn't have done it without you guys as well. And so I just want to say a big thank you to you and all the commenters. I mean, David in the comments, Diego Kante, I know has been fantastic, giving us awesome content. We'll get onto your stuff in a bit. But what I think is important is just to say thank you, because we've been on this journey. And to be fair, we've been figuring it out. So myself, James, and we've been figuring it out as we go. But we just want to say thank you to you guys, and obviously for helping the channel grow at the same time, because I just want to say thank you to that. But yeah, I mean, it's we've created a kind of family here, which is crazy to think that literally we're going from North America and all sorts. So yeah, I just want to thank you, especially you, JT. I know Alex has been on loads of times. I'll get to him in a second, but yeah, just thank you, especially JT.
Yeah, no problem, man. I love being on. It's great to come on and be able to talk about Leicester with you guys, and I enjoy everyone's comments and getting to see all that and just interacting with the great community that we have around this club. So it means a lot.
Yeah, it's just been amazing. I just want to read a comment. I'll get to your dig in a second, because again, there's some really good comments, but a part of this is, we'll get onto a second, is the end of year awards, but I just want to get this comment up. There's so many stories which were read from the perspective of Leicester now be considered true top four. So Alex Ferguson said in a recent interview that yes, the best owners, and that's kind of it. I read the title. I didn't actually see what it actually was. However, the issue is with, sorry, Diego Hand has really thrown me off there. He's the Rhode Island Fox, and I never knew that. I've been looking for ages, but the worst thing is I've messaged him to come on, and then I never got back to him. But we'll definitely try and have you on, Diego, because we're trying to get more people on as much as possible. However, I've lost my train of thought now, Alex. But again, this year, since I think you joined and since the channel's gone, it's gone mental, and Leicester have kind of followed along suit with that.
Yeah, I still remember the first time that you guys invited me on. It was for the recap after the Manchester United, I think, when we lost. To miss out on Champions League for the first time. So it's kind of funny how we've done a full year and it's this same result again, but this time it was to Spurs. But what a year! I can say what a year. Thanks for allowing me to be a part of this. It's been so incredible. My wife is so incredibly thankful that I can talk football to people other than herself, because she doesn't understand, and she's sick and tired of me just spewing stats and whatever I can possibly think of, because that's pretty much that goes through my head all day. But what a journey! It's crazy to think that the channel has reached over 1,000 subscribers. I'm surprised on how many people can actually tolerate me, because the amount of times I've heard people say, "Why am I listening to a Canadian talk about European football? Let's be serious here." I'm more, people would probably expect me to be talking about hockey and all that stuff. So thanks for dealing with me for this past year, because I know that I'm opinionated as anything, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to unfold as we move forward, because I feel like we not only is Leicester going to have exciting times, but I feel like this channel, we're going to have a lot of exciting times moving forward, and I'm really excited to be a part of that.
Yeah. So thank you both for coming on. It's just one of those things where we started this on a whim almost. It was a complete kind of accident. James has been a lot of the driving factors. You may not see him as much on the screen time, but I think you guys know he's always doing work behind the scenes. I try and do a lot of this visual stuff, and will be able to join relatively soon. Just sorting out a few internet issues, which I think you've seen in some of the earlier episodes. But we're just trying to figure things out. But again, it's a weird journey. I don't know if Thingy are going to get the women's section out, because they're flying as well. But Leicester City are definitely a club on the up. However, I just want to come. So we've talked about the transfers. We will come on to some of the things I think later on when we do the results. However, JT, I want to get your thoughts on what are your favorite memories of this season so far, because there's been, again, Leicester City have a way of disappointing you with like the 4-2 against Tottenham, the 4-2 against Newcastle as well. They have a way of really disappointing you. However, I think at the same time, they have some upsides as well, but I want to concentrate on the upsides specifically for this. So is there any memorable games that you remember watching this season?
Yeah, for sure. The first one comes to mind. We'll go back to the beginning of the season, beating Man City 4-2. or 5-2. Sorry, with Madison scoring that worldy goal. That was just crazy. Back when he was actually in form, but yeah. And so the other positives would definitely, I mean, obviously the FA Cup. Don't think we have to mention it. And just little things along the way. James Justin scoring a worldie in the FA Cup, that was fantastic. The European run came a little short. That should have gone on longer, but it was fun. It was fun while it lasted. We did well in the group stage. It was fun to watch us play well then. As for specific moments, it's kind of, it wasn't, for me, it wasn't even like a season really of specific moments. I think a lot of them have been overwritten by the FA Cup. It was kind of like a gradual just success and gradual positives for me. I'm trying to think of times where I just like yelped out in joy. Let's think here. Okay. Kelechi Iheanacho's goal versus Crystal Palace at the end. I think he just collected goal of the season possibly for that one. So I think that one would probably be another positive for me, because that gave us some real hope going into the final games of the season to solidify top 4. And so that was one where I did definitely yell out.
Yeah. They never surprise you, but again, Alex, I know we'll end up doing the final game of the season, the final end of year review. We'll try and get that sorted. I know I keep talking about it, but any final memories of this season? Because again, there's just been so many, and also this season has felt like forever because of lockdown. I mean, it feels like if you take it back to not just the first game of the season, I think the first game of the season when we beat West Brom 3-0, that seems, because of lockdown and because of COVID and what's happened this year, that genuinely seems about 2 or 3 years away now. This season has dragged out massively, even though, ironically, it's been the shortest season, I think, ever, in terms of from the first day of the season to the last day of the season.
My body is telling me it feels like it's been a decade. The fact that it's been only a season, there's been so many memories, which is something that I love to say, because you get memories from every season, but this season in particular, especially with COVID and this pandemic, this football's really kept me sane. It's been that one escape from just all the chaos that's been going on, and just being able to focus in on a game or two during the week has been very nice. So it's a little weird not having anything right now, considering I'm still in lockdown. But overall, if I could really pinpoint something like a memory or, a player or whatnot, there's so many. And, it could be as simple as, the Jamie Vardy celebration, when he pulls out the flag and starts playing it as a guitar, because I lost it there. The Yuri Tillman's goal to, win the FA Cup, lost it there. Nacho getting a hat trick, lost it there. I would even say, I think it was Nacho getting the game-winning goal against Brighton in the dying minutes, lost it there as well. There's so many memories that you could really focus in on that have made this season so incredible. And another one I'm just going to pinpoint is, Vardy getting the hat trick against Man City and that at the start of the season and the 5-2 victory. There has been some incredible games and some incredible moments that, I'm really not going to forget. Final one I'm going to think of is the Liverpool comeback, because let's be serious here. We thought we were down and dead in that comeback. I think I lost my voice, scared my dog, gave my wife a heart attack throughout that game alone. But just so many memories, and that's what I'm going to take from this season, is the amount of memories and the joy that they brought me. And I can even look back now and I can be like, what a season we had. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really was. One thing as well to say as well, couple of other comments as well. Amate's last minute winner at Brighton, again, that was just unbelievable. This is just to whet your appetite for the full Beyond the 90 LCFC awards that is coming as well. Dio Kante, Nacho's last minute goal, that was unbelievable. We didn't look like we were going to win that game. But yes, just to get some of your comments as well, in terms of the Man City, people are saying the Man City game, which was a great, and people are saying the Nacho versus Crystal Palace, as you were saying, GT, absolutely stunning that goal was. And then just to come back to some of the comments as well before we finish up, but yeah, Diego Cantor says again, I think we should be proud, and that's it. Unity is key, and the club cares about the supporters, and they care about each of them. And we're not just, unlike some of them, not just a monetary value. We actually mean something to the club, and you saw that even on the last game of the season. But yes, we have done so well. Nacho being another one. I mean, his season, even half a season, JT, has been, his development has been absolutely sublime.
Yeah, I've been on here. I've been on here a few times since he started breaking out, and I've talked about him looking like prime Ronaldinho at times, picking the ball out of the air. He's looked like the most lethal striker in Europe, looking like Robert Lewandowski with some finishes, hitting balls. Even like one of my favorite goals that I've seen Leicester score has been away at West Brom. Jamie Vardy, the volley over the shoulder, and Kelechi almost just perfectly redid that goal versus Burnley with flawless technique. Couldn't have even imagined it going any better. So that's so his development has been great. I still do feel like he is a big time purple patch confidence player. I do get a little concerned when he starts, like the last couple of games. He hasn't been fantastic, but I'm more confident in him now that I've seen him play like we know that he can, like we saw it in spurts at Man City when he had like a Premier League like record goal per 90 like ratio and stuff like that when we bought him in, what everybody was so excited about. So I think we're finally getting to see that. He's getting to a good age for him to hit that next level, and I'm excited to see where he goes.
Yeah, I think it's definitely exciting to see where this goes. Again, just to close out, guys, we'd like to say thank you so much for making it. Even if you've made this far through, it really does mean the world to us. And we started with this just doing completely weird other content, doing transfer news because there was not lockdown was happening, and we just had to find an excuse to talk about Leicester City. But make sure you stay subscribed if you've not subscribed already. We're nearly at 1.1k, and again, that's just been madness over the last couple of weeks, and seeing the channel just shoot up through the roof. And yeah, make sure to pay attention as well and subscribe, because we've got the end of the year awards. I know I've mentioned about 400 times already, but we're trying to organize that. There's so many good awards. I don't want to list them off now, but we're coming up to about 14, 15 awards that I've got now in terms of certain players and certain things. So we'll make sure to tune into that. We're trying to get this organized, but again, just time zones and people having different lives. How dare they? But yeah, we're just trying to do the best at the moment. So we'd like to say, thank you from Alex, JT for both joining us. Thank you for myself for paying so much attention to the show and for helping it make a success it is. So we just wanted to make that say thank you so much towards you and for helping us make this a success. But yeah, thank you very much, Diego Cantor. We'll see everybody for the awards ceremony whenever that is, but make sure to stay tuned. We'll see everybody in a bit. Goodbye.